everybody, Erica with One Berkshire. I'm here with Diane Pearlman, and she's holding the sign for the Berkshire Film and Media Collaborative. So we're doing one of our Women in Business interviews about something that some of you might not know about. We have a whole community here of film, and we have a history of amazing film creation here.
We do.
Diane's going to tell us about it, and we're going to get to learn about her in the process. Okay. So the reason we're doing this selfie stick style is because there's a ton of these posters on the wall. Diane's going to give us a little bit of the history here.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Start with how this all came about. How'd you get here?
Oh, okay. I came here, a long time ago in the early 90s to work with a guy named Doug Trumbull. He lives here, and he's one of the visual effects pioneers in our business. He worked on movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Blade Runner, and he had just finished a project which was called the Back to the Future ride for Universal Studios, where you sit in the motion base and it moves.
I think I've been on that ride.
You probably have. Huh. And it was the first one ever done, and the reason it was done here is he got a call from Steven Spielberg. When Universal hired Steven, they said, oh, we want to do this ride film, and Steven said the only person that can do it is Doug. So they came and they did that in 1989.
Doug was living in the Berkshires.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
And it was done in Housatonic with like 200 people and models and miniature makers, and it was great. So it was done in a mill there. And after that, Doug got hired to do a project called Luxor, which we created 3 attractions for the Luxor Pyramid Hotel in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas,
right.
Okay.
And one was a ride film, and then there was a 3D movie, and one that was done in a format called VistaVision, which is a large format, turned on its side. Too much
Now you're getting geeky on
right,
us.
I'm getting geeky.
I'm going to back you off the geek.
So we did that for a year, and I actually got plucked out of New York to oversee the project. I was the production supervisor for the guys in Las Vegas because they didn't know anything about visual effects. And that's when I met Doug. So we worked on that for a year, and then Doug went on to become the co-chairman of IMAX Corporation, and I started a company here called Mass Illusion with my friend Joel Hynek, and we did high-end visual effects in Lenox in an 18,000 square foot studio with 200 people for about 6 years.
Was this your first one?
So our first movie was Judge Dredd.
All right, let's see if we can get the poster of this one. All right, so there's Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
The first one, you know, like when they remake a movie, it's really kind of, they've already made Judge Dredd again.
Have they already remade?
Right. So this is not the right color, but when I do seminars on visual effects. So this is one of the shots from Judge Dredd. So this little guy here was shot against green screen.
There he is.
This is a model miniature that was created in our model shop. This is a computer-generated ship that was done by Kleiser Walzak, who are still in Williamstown doing visual effects.
Nice.
And believe it or not, this, which is the background and the sky of the outside world in the Judge Dredd world, is the Berkshires. And then we put it all and composited it all together for the shots. So we did hundreds of shots for Judge Dredd here. And because that was so successful, then we went on to do Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Which is this one over here.
Down here.
So we went from Stallone to Bruce Willis because these people love the Berkshires.
Right. So Joel and I spent time in Los Angeles, in New York, shooting what we call plates, background plates, and that was done. And then we went on to do movies like Eraser and Starship Trooper and Evita. We went over and shot Madonna over in Hungary.
Fun.
And so...
All right, let's do a quiz before you say what you're about to say. So if we were to hold this up for all of you viewing at home, if you had to guess what this is a visual effect representing or preparing for, I'll give you 2 seconds to try to guess. You can even type it in the comment field if you think you know. All right, tell us, break the secret for us.
Okay, so the last 2 films we worked on were a movie called What Dreams May Come. We did The Painted World. We'll see that poster, but this is from The Matrix. So the bullet time, which was the whole... when
the most famous part of that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Was actually, that technology was developed here in the Berkshires with our team. And John Gaeta, who was our visual effects supervisor, actually went on to win the Academy Award for visual effects that year 2000.
So we'll go over here to the movie poster of The Matrix because it's here. So this was an Academy Award winning visual effect. It won the visual effect. Come in. And so this was us. This was the Berkshires. This was done here. This was you.
Yes. Well, yeah.
And your people.
Right, but you know, as Academy Awards go, the visual effects supervisors get the awards. But that's great. We were very excited for John. And then in What Dreams May Come, there were a lot of people involved here. Actually, painter Stephen Hannick, it was the first time we had took his paint strokes and scanned them in and made the painted world. And so two of our supervisors,
so really working on the artistic side of the Berkshires too, like
exactly.
all of our other artists that are here, yeah.
Right. So Joel, my partner, won, and another gentleman named Nick Brooks won for What Dreams May Come, and they've both gone on to do numerous films. So,
okay, so now I want to talk about you.
Okay.
So
against the window.
Yeah. No, let's go to a better background.
Keanu?
Let's pick a fun. Yeah, we could go against Keanu. So we've got Sylvester Stallone, Keanu Reeves, Bruce Willis, and we can't forget about Lord of the Rings here. Just have a seat next to me. Let's just do it. We'll just be sitting for the last part of this. All right. I'll drop this down. All right. So for talking about you.
Okay.
So tell me, in your career path, like here you are in the Berkshires. At some point along the way, you started the Berkshire Film and Media Collaborative.
Right.
So what's the story of that?
Well, the studio that I ran, Mass Illusion, actually ended up moving to the West Coast in 1998. And my husband and I decided to stay here, as did many of the people in the industry. And we started a development company, and then I had some kids, and you know, I didn't really want to be in LA where I wouldn't spend any time with them. So we stayed here. And in 2005, the state passed a very lucrative tax incentive program. So major movie studios started coming to Massachusetts, but they all were going to Boston. So by 2008, $350 million was spent on 14 films, but all in the eastern part of the state.
Wow.
So we started BFMC to encourage production in this part of the state. So now we've been...
And pause on that, because that's actually an economic development thing here. Like if we could do films here in the Berkshires,
right,
we're bringing a lot of dollars from outside the Berkshires into the Berkshires.
Exactly. And actually, we did an economic development study, and for every dollar that's spent, 60 cents goes into the local economy, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's a $100,000 film, 60 cents goes into a small town that it wasn't there before.
Yeah, we'll take it. And, we'll take it.
You know, Daddy's Home 2 was here last year.
Yes.
Mark Farrell and Will Ferrell, sorry,
and Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg.
Right. So, and they spent millions of dollars as they went across all of Western Massachusetts. So that's a huge influx of dollars into our area. But we support big productions and small productions.
And so the mission of the Berkshire Film and Media Collaborative is to attract?
It's to really grow the film and media industry on a lot of different levels. So we offer educational courses, film production classes at Berkshire Community College. We just did actually a 1-week intensive over the summer for middle schoolers. They made a movie. It was fabulous. Of course, it was like a horror movie, but it was great. We do workforce development. We teach people how to be production assistants because that's what I get asked for when productions come here. We do networking events so that our local professionals hire within Western Massachusetts and don't hire people, you know, they look down the street before going to LA or New York. And in 2 weeks, we're actually doing something called the Exchange, where it's on writing and pitching your project. So if you're a writer, go to berkshirefilm.org and you can sign up. We're bringing in this amazing consultant from Hollywood. Her name is Pilar Alessandra. And she consults all over the world, but her daughter is here in Western Mass going to college, so she agreed to come out from LA. And she's going to do something on narration and dialogue development, but also give people the template about how to pitch your project, because you don't have to be in LA or New York to pitch good content anymore.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So if you're ever interested in getting your show on TV,
that's the starting place. Come to the Exchange in 2 weeks. Yes, okay. Exactly.
So talk to us about you now. So you helped found and start this Berkshire Media and Film and Media Collaborative. Along your career path, like, did you ever see yourself doing this for a living?
No, not at all. I mean, I was a trained visual effects producer, and you know, one day I became a mom, and then I was like, oh, what's next, right? And I was actually on the board first. And Lori Clefos, who's on our board, who is one of the executives here at One Berkshire, I remember she walked me out of the room at one point, and she said, just wait outside for 5 minutes, and when I came in, I was running it. I'm not really sure how that happened.
The old bait and switch.
Yeah. So, but it's been great running this as a nonprofit. I really feel after working on all these big movies, it's a great way to give back to the community.
Yeah. Great.
But also, I think it's an industry that we can promote and attract young people to come here and work in the industry and stay here, and because it's an exciting industry. Especially, you can live anywhere these days with digital technology. You don't have to be in what were deemed the centers of production, which is New York and LA.
Yeah, now you can live somewhere nice like the Berkshires.
That's right.
And
so
still
it's
be in
kind
that
of a
field.
secret.
But we're going to share it because we want more people here.
That's right.
Okay, so give us some wisdom. I can tell you have so much wisdom from all of this experience. Give me some lesson, like some challenge you've faced and a lesson you've learned from that challenge.
a lot along the way because I've been doing it a long time. But I would say probably the biggest lesson was when I came up from New York to work here in the Berkshires, and I was going to be a production supervisor. And my mom, who's a financial consultant, was coaching me about what to ask for a salary. And I was like, no, I can't ask for that. That's 3 times what I'm making. They'll never give it to me. And she actually mentored me, my own mom, and coached me. And I was really glad because when I got here, the producer on the other side and I were making about the same. So if I had really sort of gone with what I thought I should make, I would have been really upset. So I think the first thing is ask for what you're worth. I think that's something that women don't do, and we need to do that. The other thing is, I would say go with your gut. Really listen to your gut. If you think a project isn't right, or you're not sure about someone, trust that. Because whenever I haven't trusted it, forget it. And I don't know.
Those are great. No, those are 2 good lessons. Okay. So let's end with women in the Berkshires, women in business in the Berkshires who inspire you.
Wow, a lot of them, because there are women doing great things here, and a lot of them I'm friends with and just have been great partners in everything that I'm doing. Let's see. I would say probably first Karen Allen, who I just produced her first short film. She's been an actor for many, many years. She's a businesswoman. She has Karen Allen Fiber Arts here. Yeah. And 3 years ago, she decided she wanted to direct a film. So I love that someone of her stature and where she was in the business just became totally open to learning a new part of the business. Wow. So it was great. So that's a Tree, a Rock, a Cloud. The poster's over there. We can look at it later.
Well, yeah, we'll end there.
I would say Karen Zink, who's the president of Berkshire Gas, who's on my board. I love going there for meetings because in the hallway you see all these men like in tall hats and in black suits, and at the end is Karen. She's like this beacon.
Wow. First female leader of that.
Of Berkshire Gas.
Yeah, that
and
organization.
She has been. And she actually started there and worked her way up.
Wow. That's cool.
And I would say Chris Hazard, who's the president of Berkshire United Way, has been really inspirational. I just directed a fundraising video for them, and she has just been a great supporter of what we do. And especially, we're just launching a new initiative that I want everybody to know about. We launched in July. It's called the Community Film Fund. I was finding that I was getting calls almost daily or several a week from our nonprofits that need to make video for their branding, for their marketing, to get their voice out there. And they don't have the money for it, or it's the first thing that's cut out of their budgets. And I was just hearing these stories that I felt had to get out there. So we're raising $50,000 as a matching fund. Nice. So we're hoping to launch that in the beginning of 2019. So if you're a nonprofit, we're working with Liana Toscanini and the Nonprofit Center of the Berkshires. And we'll have a whole way for you to apply. And
it's so important. Video is like, it's the wave of the future. So if you're a nonprofit and you're not sharing your story on video, you're missing out on capacity to help the mission that you're trying to serve. So
and we also want to sort of take the onus away from it, like, oh, it's so terrifying, it's so expensive. There are so many amazingly talented filmmakers here in the Berkshires that may go off and work on a feature film or a commercial, but they're willing to come here and shoot for our companies here, and I think that that's really exciting. So we want to make sure that the product that our nonprofits make are of the highest quality. Right. So we're hoping that that matching fund does that.
A dollar amount will help with that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being another amazing Berkshire woman in business, being willing to be interviewed for this little feature we're doing throughout the month of October.
I'm always behind the camera. This is a little unusual.
Yes, we made her get out in front and be featured today as opposed to making it all happen all the time. So thank you for everything you bring to the region and for what your organization's bringing to the region and for being here in the Berkshires.
Well, thanks for coming here. And if you have film questions, BerkshireFilm.org.
BerkshireFilm.org. Here's a business card. Virtual. You can take one right now and come find Diane Pearlman. She'll help you out. All right, everybody. We'll see you at the next feature.